the tariffs and the auto industry. Peter Navarro, a top advisor to the president on trade, says currently automobile manufacturing plants are at about 60% capacity. He argues that there's lots of untapped capacity, meaning jobs could be created relatively easy and you wouldn't need to spend 2 or 3 or maybe 5 years building new factories. Is that your understanding? Is that your belief?
It's spot on. Look, we have a situation right now in Warren, Michigan, where 2,000 workers were laid off this past year. They built the Ram truck there for years under Stellantis. And Stellantis made a decision to shift that production to Mexico. They could shift that work back in very short order and be producing Ram trucks right back there and put those people back to work. They're in a situation where they need to build a new plant. Yeah, that's going to take a couple years, but there is plenty of opportunity for these companies to do the right thing and bring work back here overnight, just as quick as they shipped it out of here.
How do tariffs make that happen? What is the relationship between a 20 or 25% tariff and getting that capacity back up to where you'd like to see it?
Well, because like everything, the companies abuse the process. I mean, they're in the pursuit of driving a race to the bottom. I mean, the tariffs are, there was a major promise when NAFTA, we go back to when NAFTA happened in 1992, the big debate, and Ross Perot talked about the giant sucking sound that our manufacturing base was going to disappear. He was spot on. And we saw what happened in the ensuing 30 years. We've seen 90,000 plants leave. Like I said, we've seen 65 plants in the big three close. Look, right now, as we speak, in Wisconsin, we have a Deere plant threatening to be closed and their work being threatened to go to Mexico. We have a heavy truck plant at Freightliner, Volvo, and Mack Truck in Pennsylvania being threatened to be taken to Mexico. There is plenty of opportunity, and I've had companies tell us point blank that they're going to have to bring product back here if those tariffs are implemented.
You mentioned NAFTA. Of course, NAFTA has been replaced. Is USMCA a part of this problem, negotiated by President Trump?
Well, yes. I mean, USMCA, obviously there were changes made. There were some improvements, but it didn't go far enough. There were still a lot of loopholes in it. At the end of the day, it's up for renegotiation next year, so nothing stops them from getting to work. And we're right here. We're here every day. We've been very open with them about we want to work with them. We want to find ways to fix the USMCA and fix the atrocities of NAFTA that the working class in this country have suffered and the communities in this country have suffered for decades.
Sean, the market research firm Cox Automotive for this year is projecting 700,000 fewer cars will be produced and sold because of consumer anxiety over sticky inflation, meaning persistent inflation, and nervousness about cost impacts of tariffs. If 700,000 cars or trucks fewer are being made and sold, how does that help your workforce?
Well, it doesn't, but we need to take a hard look at this, because the same economists that are saying this now are the same ones in 1992 that said overnight when NAFTA was created there would be 400,000 jobs created in America in the first year. We know what happened there. They got it wrong. And the interesting part of me, all this crying about the effects of tariffs, I find it interesting, because to me this is just Wall Street. Now that Wall Street's upset about it, it's an issue. Where was Wall Street when all these manufacturing facilities have been leaving the country in the last 30 years?
We had hoped to speak to